didn't get to speak to as many candidates as I wanted to during this election cycle, but I will start reaching out to folks to see if they want to come on and talk and let people hear what their positions are on the issues. I make the videos available to them, so we will work on scheduling some folks at least before the primaries, and then definitely after the primaries leading up to November 3rd, which is the day for the midterm elections. I will definitely reach out to some candidates then. All right. So register to vote before July the 20th. We have closed primaries in Florida. So you can only vote for your party affiliation. If you're a non-party affiliate, you'll only be able to vote in the nonpartisan races. So that's an update on that. Okay. So request your vote by mail, register by July the 20th in order for you to vote in the primaries. Now, it's a lot's been going on, and I haven't been around to talk a lot about it. There were elections that took place in both New York and Baltimore yesterday, and the outcomes of the races in New York seem to be the talk of the nation right now, particularly because standard Democrats, didn't win. They lost to what they refer to as Democratic Socialists, people who ideologies are more aligned with that of Mayor Mamdani. So I think it was a 5-term elected that lost to a newcomer that was supported by the mayor of New York. So there's definitely some changes in mentality that's happening, at least in New York. Maybe it's going to trend and happen in the country. We will see, because I believe all of the candidates that the mayor of New York supported were successful in their elections, and there's talk that the people who were lifted by Hakeem Jeffries, that they did not win. So what is that saying? What's going on? What's happening? Is this something that's going to be trending throughout the United States? I definitely believe that there is an appetite for some sort of change in the nation right now, because a lot of what's going on just really ain't making sense. So there's an appetite for change. So we just have to see. We're going to continue to see what that change looks like as these primary races are happening throughout the United States, and up until the midterm elections in November. That's going to be the real tell of what's going to happen. Now, also before I came on today, the president refused to sign a bipartisan housing bill that both Republicans and Democrats alike came together to try to see if they can give people relief, right? Because the cost of living is so high, cost of housing is basically unaffordable for so many. So there was some bipartisan agreement that passed, that the president was supposed to sign off on, but he doesn't want to sign off on it because he wants to have access to people's personal information. And because he can't have it now, he doesn't want to make sure people can have affordable housing. People need to pay attention to that, because who are these folks really here for, right? Are they here for the people, which the people voted for them to do what's best for them? And here we have the president not even willing to sign off on something that's bipartisan. Now, one of the other things that happened while I was, not really on the show, was that the president was trying to give like some $1.8 billion to people that were involved in the January 6, 2021 incident. And the Republicans was like, no, right? So at least we're starting to see that they're starting to push back on some of the policies and the things that the president is doing that's really not in the best interest of the people. Now, are they really doing that because they believe that's the right thing to do? Or are they doing that because they realize if they voted for something like that, they won't get reelected? But whatever it is, whatever it may be, at least they're pushing back and not just signing off on any and everything that's being pushed forth by the president. And in comical news, it's funny, but it's sad all at the same time, is that the reflection pool at the White House is turning green, and they're blaming it on vandalism, but we all know that's poor maintenance. It was a bad idea to mess with it in the first place. And so I think they said they're building a fence around it. Sounds like another one of his friends is getting a contract to build something and spend money, looking out for more of their friends to add a fence around a reflecting pool that should have been messed with in the first place. So, hey, that's where we at with it, right? Now, I talked a little bit about New York and then the wins that were happening, but then the other thing that happened in New York that I think everybody's going to talk about is the fact that the Knicks won the NBA, that like the Knicks are the winners of all of it for basketball. That's surprising, but I'm sure all the people in New York are really happy about that. So shout out to the Knicks. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Shout out to them. So some of the races that are really important. Well, not all of them are important because, hey, listen, elections have consequences. And so we know every race is important. So I don't want to say some are more important than the other, but the ones that are in the front of the news are U.S. House District, Congressional District 24 and Congressional District 20, which is in Broward County and Palm Beach County. And then 24, that's the seat that since Frederica Wilson, who's the incumbent in that race, decided not to seek re-election, is pretty much an open seat. And we saw some of everybody, some of everybody is vying for that seat. We have the former state senator, and I say former because he resigned to run for the seat. Chevrolet Jones from Senate District 34 left this seat to seek Frederica's seat. Oliver Gilbert, who is commissioner, who resigned from his commission seat in Miami-Dade County, is running for that seat. Kendrick Meek, I believe Jr. or the second, is also running for that seat, and he's running. I guess it will be a legacy seat because his grandmother held the seat before, his father held that seat, and now Kendrick Meek Jr. is running for that seat. And then there's Jean Monestein, who was a former commissioner in Miami-Dade, is running for that seat. And there's another Haitian national, Dr. Rudy Moïse, is running for that seat. And I believe it's someone. And then there's some names that I'm not as familiar with that are there. I think it's about 7 or 8 folks that are running for for Congressional District 24. So do your research. Look at people's record. Chevron has a record that you can look at to make a determination on if he's going to be your candidate of choice. Oliver Gilbert has a record because he's been an elected official, even though not in that seat. You can look at his record to see if that's the person that you want to vote for. I do have to say that Frederica Wilson pretty much endorsed him. She passed the torch to him, and she passed the literal torch to him. I mean, they had fire on the stage. She had one torch, lit the torch and handed it over to him. So that's definitely Frederica's candidate. But those individuals have records that you can look at. Kendrick Meek, he just Junior has legacy to look at. You can, but he has a platform. You can look at him on his social, check him out on his pages to see if the issues that he wants to bring to the forefront are issues that are important to you. Dr. Moïse, not an elected official, but he does have a whole bunch of accolades. Check out his videos too and see if that's who you want to vote for. Jean Monestein has been out of political life for a few years, but he had a record as a former commissioner in Miami-Dade. So you can look into him and see if that's who you want to vote for. I believe the NAACP in Miami-Dade's branch of the NAACP is going to have a candidate forum on Tuesday, June the 30th, with these individuals. I was trying to pull up the flyer. I have a whole bunch of stuff here, so I'm not seeing it right now, but I believe Miami-Dade's NAACP is going to have a candidate forum with them on Tuesday, June the 30th. So if you want to hear what it is they have to say, you can go in and check them out online. And I believe it's an in-person event too, so you can go and check them out. Now so that's CD 24. Hey Sora, CD 24. Now the other race that's causing a whole lot of problems for a whole lot of people in terms of just creating a migraine over a migraine is CD 20, right? That's the seat that was held by Alcee Hastings first. Sheila Shefferlis McCormick had it for the last 5 years. She resigned from the position, but then she's also running again. So there's a whole bunch of folks in that race too. And then Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was who was from CD 23, because Florida do what Florida does, they redrew all of the lines to try to, make some areas more favorable towards Republicans. And that's what it is, because there's no reason a Republican governor would redraw the lines unless it was going to benefit Republicans. So that's exactly what happened. And because they redrew Debbie Wasserman Schultz line and made her former area more Republican, not that a Democrat can't win in Broward County, but it's favored to go Republican. She chose not to run in that race, which, I mean, I'm going to say that I absolutely disagree with that decision, particularly since one of the things that she talks about is the fact that she's, been in office for so long. I think she's been in office like 26 years. She has a lot of clout. She's a high-ranking member in Congress. So if you got all this name ID, high recognition, did all of this work, then you should be able to win that seat, right? You should be able to get all the Democrats over there to vote for you and some of the Republicans too, because you have a record that spans over 20 years that should make people want to send you back. But instead of doing that, she comes into CD 20 because it's a safer bet, because it's a very Democratic seat. But the issue is that seat is one of the few seats that would send Black representation to Congress, right? I believe that Black folks can win everywhere, or particularly if we live in those communities, because we're always right on the issues. Well, for the most part, we're right on the issues, right? But that seat is historically held by a person of color, and for Debbie to make the decision to run in that seat, I just absolutely don't agree with it, right? She gets to do whatever she wants to do. I'm told that you always send your best player, blah, 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 but I still don't think she should have ran there. So I spent too much time talking about her when there are other people in that race. Luke Campbell is running in CD 20. I'm looking forward to speaking with him. I'm actually going to be part of, I'll be on a 2-minute warning, God willing, tomorrow, where he's going to appear along. I'll be on with Bobby Henry and Perry Bugsby, and we're going to interview Luke Campbell on a 2-minute warning tomorrow. So if you have time, tune into that. It's on YouTube and Facebook, and it's at 8:00 tomorrow night. So we'll get a chance to hear from Luke Campbell, who's running in CD 20. Also running in CD 20, as I said, is Sheila Shefferlis McCormick. She's running for her seat again. That's a choice. She can do that. I mean, I know one of the concerns that people have is that she does have some things that are going on outside of that. She has a hearing coming up in February of next year, and there are concerns that even if she wins, whether or not she'll be able to remain in her seat again. Because even though the election is in November, congressional members don't get sworn in until January. So she'd get sworn in January and then has some legal matters that she would have to deal with in February. And that's concerning to some folks, but not that's what it is. However, she is running. She's qualified to run. Her name will be on the ballot in the primaries, and you'll have the option of voting for her if that's what it is that you choose to do, right? And then we have Dale Holness. Dale Holness is also running in CD 20. He ran before. He never ran against Alcee, which is one thing Sheila did, but he never did. However, once Alcee passed, Dale did run for the seat. And interestingly enough, when he first ran between him and Sheila, he lost to Sheila Shefferlis McCormick by only 5 votes, right? So when people talk about their vote doesn't matter, that is one of the cases, quintessential cases that shows you that it does, because it was a difference of 5 votes that that Dale Holness didn't get. I mean, he would have needed 6, didn't get in order for him to have been our congressional rep, but he lost by 5 votes. So every vote does count. So he's running again. He has a lot of support. He just put out something on his socials that shows all of the individuals who endorsed him. I live in the great city of Miramar. It seemed like almost everybody in the Miramar Commission endorsed him. People in West Park, throughout the county. So he has that out. So if Dale Holness is the person that you want to support, he is running in CD20. And the other person who actually got the endorsement of a congressional member, Ro Khanna, is Elijah Manley. He's the youngest person that's running in that race. And I mean, he's all over socials. He's been in this political game for a while and has made impact. He hasn't won, but he definitely makes every other candidate step their game up to run against him. So he's not like somebody that you can ignore, right? You cannot ignore Elijah Manley, because he come with it and he makes them all step their game up. He's run for school board before, and I believe he ran for a Florida State Senate seat with a bunch of other folks, and then took a little bit of time off, and every time he's always competitive, and he's raised a significant amount of money. He's getting endorsements. His ads are all over the place. You can see them all on social media. And I don't know if that's the way you win, because, you know, most of these things are ground game. You got to make contact with people. Not everybody's on social media. And because you have a big presence there, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. It's really about knocking doors, engagement, and that type of thing, right? People got to know that you exist in order for you to be an option. And they have to know that not just from social media, because not everybody's on social media. So Elijah Manley's in the race. Again, he makes everybody step their game up when they're running against him. You know, and he's one of the ones that, you know, that's favored. But again, I just gave you a whole bunch of names. Luther Luke Campbell is in that race. Dale Holness is in that race. Sheila Sheffield McCormick's in that race. Elijah Manley's in that race. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz in that race. And then we also have some Black Republicans that are in that race. Carlos Spalding is running in that race. And Rod, I can't remember his last name, but there's another Dr. Rod something on the Republican side that's in that race. So people have a lot to choose from. They're going to have, like, you know, some serious decisions to make. But remember, we have closed primaries, so the Republicans won't be running against the Democrat in the primary side of it. So it'll be a Democrat and a Republican that will come out, and then they will face off. They will face off in November for the vote. So we will see what happens in CD20. All right, so those are the big ones that people are really talking about, that are going to stay in the forefront of everybody's mind up until August the 18th, after 7 p.m. when the voting offices close. And I don't know if we'll have a decision right afterwards, or if it's going to take a little bit more time after 7 p.m. on August the 18th to find out who the Democratic nominee is going to be for CD20. And the reality is usually whoever the Democratic nominee is in CD20 tends to win, right? Because again, it's a very heavily Democratic. So we'll see who comes out, and we'll see if that ends up being the reality come November, right? And there's the newly drawn district, which is CD22, has Casey Early, who's a defense attorney in the county, and another young lady named Pia, and I can't remember Pia's last name. She's running in CD20, and I think there's maybe a couple other people in that race. But that's a newly drawn district. It covers like the West End, Parkland area. And so we have Casey Early that's running in that race. She's already started campaigning. And not only does it include Parkland, West End, it also includes areas of Belglade, South Bay, Clewiston, which is the area called the Muck. So that has like Broward, Palm Beach, Hendry County in CD 22. And I think it goes into Lee or Collier County also. So that's a new district in 22. So we'll see if Kasia Early can come out. Pia has I know that she went in and met with presented to the senior caucus, I think the senior caucus. And so she presented with them. And so you can find her information to check her out and see, where people stand on the issues. And this is one of the times where, like, even if people used to just vote their feelings before, right now, just in terms of where the country is and, how the cost of everything is going up, I really hope people vote their interests this time, right? And when I say vote your interest, I'm not talking about like I'm a single issue voter. No, that's not what I mean. We really need, people really should vote like, how is all of what these folks are doing is impacting my life, and do I support what it is that they say or think about, these particular issues. So just be informed. So that's it on the congressional side. I'll talk about it again next week. Again, like I said, I'll be on the 2-minute warning tomorrow with Bobby Henry and Perry Bugsby talking to Luther Luke Campbell from CD20. I know for sure that all of the candidates were invited should I say I know, but I believe, I strongly believe that all of the candidates were invited to come on the show. So, no one's picking favorites, even though they may have their own, right? We're just going to see what comes out and what happens. Now, school board is a little bit of the one I want to talk about too, because there are 5 school board seats that are up this year. And yeah, it's 5 seats, right? I think it's District 1 where Maura Bowman is there. So, and she has someone that's running against her. I know 6, that's Adam Severa. He took over. I see her face, but can't say her name. So he was appointed because the former elected had resigned, and I believe that's seat 6. Nora Rupert decided not to seek re-election, so her seat is open. Cynthia Dominique and another young lady is running for that, and I believe that's seat 7. Alan Zeman's seat is up for re-election, and he has a opponent. Her name is Sonia Azim. So that's so Alan Zeman, Adam Severa, Nora Rupert, Maura Bowman. Oh, and the other seat that's up is Lori Allerdeff's seat. She decided not to seek re-election, and Nicole Morse and another lady is running in that race. So we have opportunity to it's not going to be 5 new board members because Lori's not coming back and Nora's not coming back. Yeah, so it could be 5, right? So you can leave 3 there or change them all, and it'll be 5 new board members come November, right? And Carla, thank you for telling me it's Brenda Pham. So Adam Severa from seat 6 was appointed after Brenda Pham resigned from the board, and she, basically said it was a hostile work environment and she couldn't take it anymore, so she left. And so Adam was appointed, and he's running for re-election. And I think he has the most people running against him. I think when I last saw it, it might have been 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people in that race. But all seats are contested. No one's running for school board uncontested. And what I want to say about school board is that school board is a nonpartisan seat. So that's actually one of the ones where Republican, Democrat, NPA, everybody can vote for school board because it's a nonpartisan seat. People may have political affiliations, and if you want to go look them up, you can find out what their political affiliation is, but it's a nonpartisan seat. So it's supposed to not matter, but sometimes it does, right? All right, so school board is there, and then we have some judges that are up. I know I think her name is Veronica Walker. Is it Veronica Walker is running for judge? Tamar Hamilton is running for judge. These are just some of the names that I can think of off the top of my head. They're running. So Tamar Hamilton, Veronica Walker are running for judge. So go look them up. They can't really do a lot of the things. They can't come on there. Those are nonpartisan seats. They cannot, go into partisan spaces, and they can't go asking you for money. So I'm just telling you that they're running. It costs money to run these campaigns. The mere fact of printing, getting shirts, getting, information, doing mailings, all of those things count. So they need people need your support. They really, really need your support. So if you can, definitely go to their websites, donate, volunteer your time to door knock for them, because, elections have consequences. And if nobody believed that before, or no one knew that before, the result of the 2024 election has made it very clear that elections have consequences, because we're like 2 years, not even a full 2 years into this administration, and Lord, it feels like forever, so yeah, make sure you know your vote count, check your voter registration. I wanted to go back into another race in Miami, which is, I talked about it a little bit. So state house, the state race group 34 in Miami, that's the seat that Chevron Jones had. There are 3 ladies running. I can tell you the name of 2. So Christine Sanonjou is running for that state Senate seat. It's 34. Oh, I do know all 3. So it's Christine Sanonjou is running. Ashley Gant is running, and Ashley Gant was actually the rep from House District 109. She gave up that seat, and there's some other candidates that's running. The mayor of he was either the former mayor or the mayor of Opelika is running for the House District 109 seat. But in state House seat, Ashley Gant, Christine Sanonjou, and Miss Iguodora Shannon. I think her first name is Shannon Iguodora. Her husband was I don't know, like a commissioner or council person in Miami Gardens, and she is known in her own right. So Shannon Iguodora, Christine Sanonjou, and Ashley Gant is running for that race. I know that Christine is having a campaign launch and a fundraiser in Miami at The Cats on Sunday, I believe between 5 and 7 or 5 and 8. It's at The Cats, which is on 125th Street and I think 7th Avenue Northeast in North Miami. So Christine Sanonjou is having her kickoff for her state seat in for 34. And so go to I think it's Christine for Florida. Look up Christine Sanonjou. Again, make donations to their campaigns. Try to volunteer. Just do something, because again, it's expensive to run these races, which I think it shouldn't be, but it is, because you have to send out mailers. You have to get paraphernalia. Sometimes you have to pay for ad time and all these different things. So support those candidates. So those are races to watch. There were a few House members in at least on the Dade County side and even on the Broward side that were reelected unopposed. So that's good for them. So I just wanted to give you a little rundown on some of the races that we need to pay attention to and focus on coming in August. So register to vote by July the 20th if you want to vote for the primaries. We have closed primaries in Florida. Check your vote by mail registration status, because you have to request your vote by mail ballots. I think it's every year. So make sure, and sometimes even if you're not going to use it, you want to get it so you can see what's on your ballot, and to give you an opportunity for you to make an informed decision when you go and vote. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, I was trying to keep the show at 30 minutes, but I kind of ran on a little bit longer. But the last thing I want to talk about is one of the things that's going to be on the ballot in November is this thing about like cutting property taxes, right? So, listen, I'm gonna just tell y'all, I say don't vote for that. Like, do not vote for that. And some people are like, well, but my property, listen, don't vote for that. Like, do not vote for that, because it's not gonna end well. Those folks in Tallahassee ain't been doing nothing to benefit people. They do things that mainly benefits corporations, themselves, their friends. That is not, if they're gonna sell it to you like it is something that you want to do and it's gonna help you and save you money. It is not. It's gonna cost you more in the long run. So do not vote for this, getting rid of your property taxes. And I understand they're high, and I understand all that, but I'm telling you, property taxes is not your real problem. Your real problem is that homeowners insurance that you're paying for. Because with property taxes, you can see where that money goes, right? That money goes to law enforcement, it goes for fire, it goes to, it goes to the school, to, your public school system. So the money, as much as I'm like sick of Broward County public schools, but that's where your tax dollars, your property tax dollars go. It goes right back into your community and provide resources that you need in your community. So imagine a decision is made for those not to be paid anymore. Then how are cities going to fund themselves, right? Like what's going to happen? So that's not your real problem. That money, you see what it does. You can see your property tax dollars at work in your communities, right? Now, what the money that you don't see, that at least I know in my case, is more than what I pay in property taxes, is the homeowners insurance that you have to pay. That is something that you don't need it until you need it, right? But you pay that money every year. If you're living in your house 50 years, you're paying for property insurance for 50 years. And most people barely file insurance claims. Like, people pay insurance all the time. They don't file any claims. And so all that money went to who, right? And then if you do file a claim, half the time they don't want to pay. And if they do pay, they're going to raise your rate so they can get the money back that they got from you. And then if they think you filed too many claims, they're going to drop you like a hot potato. And then you're not going to be able to have your property insured or whatever, right? So listen, your real issue is that you need to get candidates that are going to go to Tallahassee. You're gonna need to vote for candidates who's gonna go to Tallahassee and tell them, find a way to not allow these insurance companies to get every raise, anytime they want to charge you more, they're allowed to charge you more. And then what else happens when there is a natural disaster that takes place? What do? They dip out of the state so they don't have to pay, and they leave people hanging. So don't let them trick you into thinking that your problem is your property taxes. Your property taxes is not your problem. Your problem is what we're paying for insurance and everything else, because there's no increase in insurance premium that they asked the supermajority Republicans in Tallahassee to give them, that the insurance companies didn't get. And then when it's time for them to help you, they don't. So your real problem is your insurance, not your property taxes. And do not vote to get rid of property taxes, right? Listen, I hear what you're saying, and trust me. I have an MBA. I took economics, and one of the things I remember in economics class was when they talk about consumer surplus, because we're living in a capitalistic society, and private and businesses are going to try to take as much money from you as they can. And so if these insurance companies believe that there's a consumer surplus of thousands of dollars because folks are not paying insurance, they're going to come after that money, and they're going to get it from you. So you're probably not going to give it for the taxes, but your insurance is going to get higher. And then what are you going to do about it? You're going to have to pay it, right? And then you have these agents, and then they're going to try to privatize everything, because local government is not going to be able to provide services because they don't have the revenue. So they're going to tell you, oh, you need to privatize everything. And when they start privatizing everything, then you can't control the cost. And then what you going to do? So just in basic economics, anytime there's consumer surplus, capitalism tell them to go after it, right? And so, if these companies know that you're paying less in taxes, they're coming to get that money from you one way or another, right? They're going to come get that money from you one way or another, right? And I see AMP Coates commenting that the property taxes got to go. Again, I said what I said, and I mean what I say. That's a mistake. It's going to be an absolute mistake. People are going to live to regret that if they decide to vote in favor of cutting your property taxes. You're going to live to regret it. Now, and it's stunning to me that people are trusting this, right? I'm like, what have these folks done for you that's to your benefit, that now all of a sudden you think they're trying to do something for you? Like, come on, man, it don't even make no sense, right? So yeah, and again, your property taxes ain't your problem. Your real problem is the cost of insurance that they need to figure out a way to control it, and that can be controlled, right? Even just our utilities. Anytime Florida Power and Light ask the governor to let them charge you more, they give it to them and they let them charge you more. So again, your problem is not your property taxes, is all the other stuff. And if you get rid of property taxes, which is how you get your services from law enforcement, your schools and all of that, you're going to live to regret it. So I wanted to end on that. I don't want to keep on talking. They went to School of Hard Knocks and you graduated with honors. Yeah, we all went to the School of Hard Knocks, but we ain't got to keep making it hard for no reason and letting other people benefit at our expense is what I'm saying. So again, I was responding to a comment in the chat about going to the School of Hard Knocks and graduating with honors. Yes, we all have. Most people of color do know how to suffer, and we can. So if things are hard, we're going to figure it out and make it work. But what I'm saying is, like, stop giving people windfalls at your expense, right? You let disturb about with a lot of the politicians and certain voters is that they let folks come and make promises to them that they absolutely not gonna keep. They let folks come and give them a little bit of this, just a little bit of something, pretending that they're in it to benefit them, and all it is the elected is benefiting themselves. So stop selling yourself short. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop falling for the lies and look at the record. Pay attention to what it is that these people are saying and doing, and stop letting them come and, I don't curse. I don't curse on the show. So don't let people come and like sell you dreams, and don't pay attention to the smoke and mirrors. But again, the taxes aren't your issue. Do not vote for that. You're going to lose out on a lot of resources, and you're going to end up paying that money back in ways, and it's not going to be good. Those folks are not to be trusted. And they have a record to show you why you shouldn't trust them when they're trying to tell you that they're looking out for you, when they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves, and they're looking out for their friends. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end on last day to register to vote in the primaries is July the 20th. Make sure you register to vote. And if you don't, tell your friends, tell everybody you know, post it on your social media, do whatever, call your friends, tell your friends, text your friends, make it, so if I have a call to action to tell anybody today, that call to action would be is to encourage people to register to vote. Tell them to register to vote. Make sure they do it because it's really important. We have an opportunity in these midterms to start taking the country back, moving it back into a direction that's sane, right? That's sane. The Black women, we took the break already. We're not taking a break now. We're back engaged, fully involved, and working to, we're about to save people from themselves one more time. Not one more time, again. But yeah, we're back at it. It's too important. Be engaged. Support a candidate. Donate some money if you can. Volunteer some hours. Canvas for them. If you don't like the canvas because it's hot outside, make some phone calls for them, and usually you can make the phone calls from the comfort of your own home. You don't even got to leave, but try to support a candidate who's aligned in what it is that you want to see happen in the country. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and engaging. And we're going to, we're going to get it together. It's going to be all right. Okay. So go out there and vote. Hey, y'all, Sandra Sheffner, host of Racing the Races. Go ahead, please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Racing the Races. Subscribe to our TikTok page, Racing the Races, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, Racing the Races. Go ahead, support the page. I'm tired of getting crazy comments from these white dude trolls that's mad. Like, why y'all mad in the comments now? So come on, y'all, those who are fans of the show, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, comment on the video. Tell us what else you would like to see instead of me having to read all these trolling comments. But I see it as a compliment because I showed up in their feed and I really don't know who they are. And since they're not challenging the content is good. They want to make personal attacks, but that's okay. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to TikTok. All of it is called Racing the Races, and go ahead and like us on Facebook and Instagram.